Hola, welcome, hello everyone, good evening. It's a beautiful Monday, it's Party Monday. I'm going to start painting something. Hope you're all having a wonderful start to 2023. What a time to be alive. Mig back. It's going well, mate. So I decided to pull this one out of the pile of potential. Hello, Captain Carp. Because I got a couple of projects on the go. They're really complex. I feel like I'm getting lost. Hey, Rocket.
Hey, mate.
I feel like I'm getting lost in the woods on the projects. I feel like I've reached too far. I was like Icarus. I reached for the sun. Got burned. No, it's weird. I feel a little bit adrift with painting stuff right now. I started a couple of new projects and I was pretty keen on them, and the enthusiasm dropped off pretty quickly when they didn't go quite to plan. So just figuring I'm going to try something simple. It's pretty hard to mess up. See if I can find a little rhythm back. So it's just a few weeks now to the Arc Open, which is exciting. I am heading down to Melbourne for the weekend. Spend some time with young Andrew. He'll hopefully be joining us later on tonight. But I spoke to the organiser yesterday to talk to him about one of my potential entries to find out what category I should put it into. The entry was, of course, the vampire diorama, which I finished, which I will actually show off tonight because I don't think I showed it off last week. And guess what? There is no category I can enter my diorama in. Zero. Zilch. It's a little on the frustrating side.
Theo, I can see you writing in chat, but you are absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What category does it go in there, mate? This is a problem. What do I sneak it into? Just be like, nah, it's a unit, mate. Yeah, it's a funny one. I don't paint stuff to enter into competitions, right? But when you get to the end of a project like that, you're just proud of it. You just want to show it off, and I could always take it down to show Andrew and all of the other friends down there. But it's also a fucking big bopper. So, do I want to worry about transporting it down, given I can't enter it into the event? That's the conundrum we're at. I could, but correct me if I'm wrong, and I may be wrong. It's been a little while. I didn't actually bother reading the rules. I just sent an email to the organizer. I think there's a limit of 3 entries, 3 entries per category, maybe. So that is not an option. Also, some of them are glued down, so. Yeah. So I'm sort of trying to decide now if I come out with a box, take it down. Longy did offer, if I wanted to put the piece on display for the weekend, that he would be able to accommodate. So that may be sufficient for, you know. Haha. G'day, Crisp. It was a good weekend. It was a very good weekend. We have a number of calls from that weekend that we still use to this day. Ground floor mad dogs. Bit of milk. That was the funniest thing. We went out for dinner with him one night, and it was at a, I don't know, like a pub slash burger place, and he went up to the people. He's like, "Oh, any chance you can just do me a glass of milk? Just fanging a cold glass of milk right now." It's like 9 o'clock at night, and he's desperate for a cup of milk. Funny man. I already feel better about this project. Well, so far anyway. Hey, Jared. Hey, I'm not sure. Did you say you were coming down, Jared? I can't remember if you said you were coming to Arc Open or not, mate. Ah, awesome. At this point in time, I think I will only be coming down with 1, 2, maybe 3. Maybe 3. The time has crept up on me a lot quicker than I was expecting. I don't have that many small scale projects just sitting there. Yeah, but they're all painted in 2 hours, mate. I suppose I could grab a couple of those and just do a few extra hours of work on them. I'm bringing them down anyway for some games with Andrew, so maybe that's the go. Maybe I'll just pick a couple, do a little bit of tweaking. Interesting volumes in this on this skin. Very interesting. Really nice. Ah, good one, mate. Yeah, that's exciting. Ah, that's a good piece. Do you have any idea what category you're going to enter that into? Might have to enter it into squad, maybe. Maybe we can make a late petition for him to change it so there's a diorama category, and just you or me can enter it.
Look, Hugo, is that a dog? Is that a dog? What? You only care about mashed potato?
really should get into a diorama of Space Marine scale, because fuck me if it wouldn't be a lot easier to do. You'd have way more options for scenery, much less time spent per model. Oh well. Maybe one day. Hey, Broadside. It is indeed, yes, with Sean. Yep. Have you done her?
Stop pressing the buttons, Hugo. Stop
Ah,
it.
bummer.
Stop.
Probably still be able to track one down from somewhere. Maybe.
Thanks for cleaning my plate for me, buddy. I really appreciate it. Entire day lost going to bed, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah. Yes, I am. I'm your friend. I am a bad boy.
Yeah, it does. It does feel really good, mate. You know, it's one of those things, as I'm sure you know. You just pour so much effort into it, and sometimes it just feels never ending. And then that feeling in itself can sometimes just be a chain dragging you down, where you know that you just got to push through it, but the mental load of just trying to do it
Go to the tosh.
hard. So yeah, it's good to be past it. On reflection, the break didn't help. I can't do breaks really on projects. I don't know. Hey, Frog Jim. Yeah, just struggle with that pause in the dynamic of the project. But yeah, I think it's on reflection one of the better dioramas I've done. But again, composition's maybe just a tiny bit of a letdown, I think. And that's just because of the way that I go about building those dioramas, right? I construct them as I'm going. And you get some good ideas out of that, but yeah, sometimes you also have shit that doesn't work. Let's try this. Old roads. But yeah, I think compositionally what went wrong, maybe I'll whip it out and we'll have a talk about it. Might be fun. Let's change things up a bit. That's my arm. All right. Here we go. Shit, we still can't see it. Am I zoomed out as far as I can go? Yes. Oh dear. Why do I do this, eh? Yeah, it's big. It's a big bopper. All right, you should be able to see most of it now, I think. And maybe just to make it a bit easier. Okay, so here's my first issue with it in terms of the composition. So we've got a nice shape here, but I've then got this overhanging section here, and it's actually distracting from this nice V. So I think what would have been better to do was actually just cut this whole area off here and have this curve of the window, which then sort of reinforces this curve, and have that basically be everything. I think that would have been really helpful. This guy then could have potentially perched up here, walking down, and that would have then opened up visibility down here. So this whole area is basically where my composition issues stem from. See, the other thing that could have fixed it is if the throne was further over, sort of here, and this piece was twisted around a little bit more. I think that would have just opened up this side. So the interesting thing is I feel like this angle here is pretty good. Not perfect. Good morning, Wandoharo. Sounds like we might have a Bucks joining us as well.
Hi mate, how are you?
Hello, buddy. And then I feel like this angle here with these guys is also really interesting, but the main front-on angle, it just loses a little bit because of those compositional issues. So the probably another fix, which might not even be too late to do, is actually move this winged guy up here. Fuck, this could be it.
Just do the swap.
Yeah, just do the swap. And just have this guy.
Hey Liam, hey Jared, how are you guys?
Hello, friends. Yeah, that could work. And that actually opens up the piece a little bit more too. Fuck, I'd have to put.
Does anyone want to like go all the way back to when this got started and when Andy was saying put the winged guy up the top and then I was telling him to go fuck himself?
Fuck yourself, Andy. Does that make it look better?
It makes more sense from a movement perspective.
It
And
opens her up a
because that
lot.
vampire, the ground vampire now, like if you turn him in a little bit more to her, it kind of looks like he's like circling her, like trying to intimidate her.
Yep. Or it looks like he's walking away in disgust,
Yeah, either.
which sort of works as well. Oh, this is annoying. I thought we were done. I'll show you the other cool thing, which you may or may not be able to see. You can't really see anything at the moment, but... Haha! No, you still can't see it. It looks cool. It lights up. Can you see that?
It's not showing anything at
Yeah,
all.
well, it lights up. It's great.
Oh, there you go.
It's great. Oh, well.
What's the light like? With it like just in daylight and turned on, sort of.
It's,
like if we're going to be standard viewing, can you still see it?
Standard viewing, you can see it. Under the painting lamps, it basically washes out. But yeah, standard light, it looks really cool. So
Nice.
yeah.
Thank you for making the changes that I requested many times. By the way, much appreciate that.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Did everyone in the chat notice the windowsill had some adjustments to not be so smooth? It's all rubbly now. I think I've been on his back since day one about that one too. So
Whatever, mate. Whatever.
So what's the news, my friend? It has been literally the most hectic start to a year yet. It's been wild.
Yeah, we're having an interesting start to this year, that's for sure.
Yeah. This would be is this like the first time we've actually streamed together since the new year started? I think it is.
Well, yeah, we did a stream with Natalia, but yeah, it doesn't really count, does it?
No, it doesn't really count when all you can hear is Pavel and I in the background just coming way over the top on you guys. So apologies for that. I didn't realise my microphone was that good.
It was pretty good, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, mate, it's been an interesting year so far. I mean, we're a little way through it already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all ready.
We've just Natalia will have this will be her last day in the country.
Yeah.
She will have finished her last class on Sunday. She said she was having a pretty good class over in Western Australia, so that was really cool.
Yeah, I spoke to the guy who helped me organise it over in Perth, and he said it was going really well, so that's good.
It was a really wonderful thing to have them out. Really good time all round. I think a lot of Australian painters who managed to get along and spend some time with Natalia and Pavel have definitely come away with some gems.
Hopefully we've given them some gems back too, though.
Hopefully, yeah.
I mean, the old "we're not here to fuck spiders" is gotten in the repertoire.
Fond of that one. No, it was honestly it was awesome to have them stay with us for 11 days and spend a lot of time with them and do a lot of things, talk a lot of things outside of painting, but also talk a hell of a lot of things about painting, culture, the scene, the difference in scenes around the world, difference in painting styles, and maybe one of the big differences on emphasis, on what we emphasize here versus what is emphasized on the other side of the world.
So that's an interesting one. You sound like you want to talk about that.
Well, I think it's just interesting in general. Like we've discussed styles at length, and I think when we discuss styles, we often talk about just the sort of the wow elements of style, but not necessarily hitting on the technical elements of the different styles. And I mean, after spending time with Natalia and Pavel, and obviously hanging out with Shistov earlier in the year when we did judging.
Yeah.
It's clear that in Poland there is a high emphasis on both technical capability, concept, but also execution.
Yeah.
room to be liberal in that regard. Like, I think you can be liberal if it calls for it, but it seems that everything somewhat needs to have thought behind why you're doing it. That would be one of the big takeaways I had from spending time with painters from that side of the world.
When you look at the best, or I guess the Polish painters that we perceive to be the best, there is certainly a high level of skill present there. Whereas if you look at the guys that you and I are probably most inspired by, which would be the Spanish, the skill.
Hey, Top.
Hello, Topulus. I love you, mate. The skill is still evident, but it's less. Hello, Ramasquera. It's less about, where is an individual brushstroke, line, mistake, and just more about the feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, and questioning the importance of, and I'll put this in quotation marks, completing things, right? Like, because complete is, in my opinion, still in the painter's eye, not necessarily in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
I think the painter decides when it's finished, and in so if you are more liberal with your finish, then you have to be okay with the scrutiny that comes with that.
Yep. Hey,
but
Top,
yeah.
Just while I got Top, how good is that movie, eh?
Which movie?
Oh man, everything, everywhere, all of the time.
Yeah, I've heard this movie.
It's really good. Hello, Ben.
Hey, Benny.
I had a ripping good time. Really, really good time watching that film. One of the cleverest films I can remember watching.
Timbo Slice. Timbo, is that you from Bris Vegas? You're MOT, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, while Timbo throws a response to that. So I mean, lots of conversations and thoughts around this. It's not, but I'm sure he's awesome. No worries. I think he literally has almost the same name or very similar. So
yeah, this is Timbo from the UK, I think.
Okay, cool. Oh, you bought it on desktop. That's there is a commitment to a movie in 2023. Yeah, so do you have any more thoughts towards this sort of conversation, mate, or?
I enjoyed Natalia's brutal feedback during the judging, and I think that is also reflective of her perspective being from Poland versus our perspective being from a country that doesn't probably have the same technical background.
Yeah. I mean, and I think Natalia's perspective, not only on judging, but on miniature painting, like that vibe is sort of carries through her whole perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like she turns it on for judging. Like, that's the way that she sees the hobby, the art, I guess, which is pretty cool. I mean, I think she can, comfortably adjust it appropriately to different people's skill sets and skill levels, right? Like, but yeah, 100%. Covert Madness. Hi guys, just wanted to say thanks for the great Crimson Brush stream. Was great to watch. Was real good having some exposure to the judging panel. Very useful. Awesome, man. That's great to hear. That's why we do it. That's why, I mean, Trent's had that pretty much since the inception of Crimson Brush as an element that makes it its own thing. Yeah, I mean, we can sort of tie directly on into what we were just talking about. But I mean, this Crimson Brush, the feedback rounds from this year, although harsher and maybe heavier on the soul, of our young community in Australia, I think it's done a world of good for everyone.
Hey, Rocket.
Hey,
Hey.
did the grass come today? I got a text saying that the grass came.
Did it?
Yeah.
I didn't see it at the front door.
Did you go to the mailboxes?
No. Hey Devon, how are you, champion? It was good amount of aggressive feedback. I thought. I, as you quite well know, tend to err on the side of harsher, and I think sometimes you need that. Maybe it was a little bit harsher than I would have gone, which is an indication.
I think where your harshness maybe lies in it is actually in just how you deliver the information. People might see as harsh, but the actual information you're delivering is quite a resource still, right? And I think Natalia does the same thing, but I think you just both have sort of a different focus in how you do it, if that makes sense. Where, like, so for example, I think if something looked really good to you, like all across the board, you would probably talk about the things that looks really good, and then if there was a really big flaw, like not painting the underside of your model. Sorry, Ben, using you for example here. You probably wouldn't let that totally dominate your perspective on the piece. You'd be like, good job, dickhead, you should have painted this, and then move on. Whereas like Natalia was like, if this is not done, then I can't, we can't go much further. I can give feedback to other things, but this is like the most glaring thing that just needs to be dealt with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, unpainted bus rods. Yeah. But I mean, that's not a hard and fast rule to paint your rods, right? Like there are plenty of people who do and don't paint their rods. That's just a preference, right? And spending time with Natalia, she's like, I don't mind if you do or don't paint your rod, but if your piece demands you paint the rod, then paint the rod. If you're doing something dark and sinister, you probably don't want to have this big glaring pinging brass rod sticking out,
So one of the areas she and I fundamentally disagree, and this is a something you and I have talked about, is just painting the back, painting the underside, for example, of a piece. I always ask myself, well, what are we here to judge? Are we here to judge whether someone can paint the underside of a model, or are we here to judge the story that they were trying to tell? And sometimes, there'll be technical elements that'll let you down, but rarely will those technical elements, in my opinion, be on the back of a model or the underside of a model, because those are not part of the story you're telling. So that's just an area that she and I had a straight up Barney about.
Well, I can speak on this because my Spartan got some pretty brutal judgment and I think got turned literally upside down to look up under the cloak, right? And I just had not even thought about it, like when painting the piece. I was like, this is like deep in shadow, like I'm not sure I need to worry about this outside of like some undertones from an airbrush. Like it's pretty tucked away on the piece, but unfortunately it just got turned on its head and it was right there and it's like boom. So I think I am a converted man now in regards to not leaving yourself open for criticisms like that, but I think there's a time and a place, and I think it's particularly just for competition. I don't think you need to worry about it for your personal display pieces or your painting journey stuff or anything like that. But in competition, if your judge is going to flip it over, well, you've got to be able to live with whatever the result is if you didn't paint it. So maybe just do it.
Yep, it's an interesting and different perspective.
Yeah.
I have really only one regret about the judging panel, and that was putting Seb in an uncomfortable position where there was a peanut gallery member watching the stream who made a bit of a comment towards Seb, which unfortunately Seb saw, and it really rattled him a bit. You know, he and I discussed it afterwards, and he took it well. You know, judging is always subjective, and you're always going to have people who disagree with your subjective opinion. But yeah, I regret putting him in a position where he had to try and deal with that while he was also dealing with judging. So
yeah, that was a real downer. And you know, for everyone who's hanging out with us, you know, there's a lot of names that we see like pump in the chat a lot, regulars, but you know, you never know who's kind of watching, so it's a good thing to put out there, eh? Is like just be mindful, man, that like your comments can be pretty damaging to people if you're going to come in from a real negative standpoint like that.
They won't be damaging to me, but
no, not for you, but for others. You never know how people are going to respond to that. And I think actually, like Seb seems pretty fine about it now, but in the moment when you're trying to do something,
hard.
Yeah, bit annoying. Bit hard to deal with. So.
Covert, that's a good question,
yeah,
mate. Yeah. My answer is that there is no such thing as perfection, mate. I think trying to chase it in miniature work is a recipe for absolute disaster unless you are one of the very, very few people in the world who has the mental fortitude to actually strive for that.
Yeah, I mean that delves into another conversation. I'll jump in with Trent on this one, Covert. Never let perfection stand in the way of progress, particularly when you're starting out. Something that is really important is understanding that you can only deliver on your current skill set and knowledge. So no matter how hard you want to push yourself to be perfect, it's going to be hindered by what you know and how you can perform anyway. So do your best, but don't let it stand in the way of you moving forward. Sometimes, like, one of the most important skills to have in this hobby is to be able to know when to call time on a piece.
Salad Bum would like me to sing a song. It's been a while since we've sung a song. What would you like me to sing, Salad Bum?
What's he going to give us?
Don't know.
Well, he's loading in. So
Andy had
I like the skin tone, by the way. This is like really nice, really, really nice.
Andy had a very long-winded way there of saying, just paint for fun, mate. Nah, it's a tricky one because, you know, there's always that social media presence of other people's work where you see, you know, the Kirrills and the do you believe in love after love? I can feel something inside me say I really don't think you're strong enough. No. What's the next words, Rocket? I can't remember. But I know that I'll get through this.
Oh no, you're 3 choruses in there, mate. You got to hit it with no matter how
hard I try. You keep pushing me aside and I can't break through.
There we go. Ready for it? There's no talking to you.
It's so sad that you're leaving. Very good.
I love how as soon as Cher starts, the sideways head rock just gets going instantly, and then it's almost like Creed. It was a long-winded great singing. It's always great, isn't it? I think it's a long-winded way of saying it, but I think there's some.
No, look, I jest, but we say that paint for fun, right? But we're also here striving and pushing ourselves. There's a balance, right? There's a balance between trying to do something perfect and accepting that the only way that you can get better at something is to make mistakes and to fail and to learn from those things. So when you start in this wonderful hobby, painting busts, painting figures of any nature, you will do stuff that you think is great, and then 2 weeks later you'll do something that's awful, and then you'll eventually keep pushing, keep leveling up, and you'll reach a point where you're like, oh, this is great again, and then you'll be awful again. It's just a matter of finding the willpower to keep going and keep developing and keep improving. And that's why I come back to my first point, which is paint because it's fun. Do it for fun. You will naturally get better, because when you do something fun, you want to keep doing it.
Yeah. I mean, that's at the root of it all. I think the other really big one is like that you kind of touched on just there, is that painting is not like, it's not a linear journey, right? Like, you can paint something really good and then challenge yourself in a new area, and you might go back down the ladder a whole bunch, right? As you start to develop a new skill. Let's take what you're doing right now, for example, right? Painting a female's or like feminine skin tones is not the same as painting masculine ones, and so
you figured that out, did you?
Yeah. Did you hear?
Yeah, Natalia told me that she's cured you of your reticence of painting a female skin tone.
Yeah. Well, first off, I was the first one in all of our classes to transform Alice Cross into Alex Cross, as I turned him into a dude.
Yeah.
With a singular line on the facial structure.
Was it this one?
You know which one it is.
Was it this one, or was it these ones?
No. Come on, I'm not. No, it was. Yeah, it was the crease there, and I didn't actually even emphasize it. I just didn't blend it out in the process, and so it just naturally got darker and darker and darker.
Yeah.
So that was a really nice lesson. But, if we're going to tie this into what we were talking about as well, I've actually painted Alice's face probably 25 times now.
That's unlike you, mate.
Well, in the endeavour to grow and get better, you need to challenge yourself, and so I have been working away diligently on that all week, trying to teach myself a new skill set. And so it doesn't really matter where you are in the journey. There's always going to be new stuff that comes up and really knocks you for six, and you have to get in there, grind it out, figure it out.
As someone who has painted a large number of models, I feel like the day that you have stopped learning and being able to figure out a new skill set, that's the day you stop painting. Like every time I sit down and paint, I'm like, oh, don't think I've tried this before. Might learn this, practice, blah blah blah. It's awesome. It's one of the appealing things about the hobby.
I actually have a question for you.
Sure, buddy.
Something that you're really, really good at is you can place your light placements and almost get them pretty much right most of the time, like instantly, like bang, 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 bang. That's what I feel. It's good. Yep. You don't have to adjust it too much. You're very rarely having to adjust shadows. Did you spend, now, caveat this with obviously you painted heaps of models, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Did you pick pieces specifically that would increase your skill in this? Like, did you do active practice and learning on this particular skill, or is it just growing with the sheer amount of models that you've painted?
I definitely have not really ever done specific practice for just about anything really, but I do have a tendency to want to paint models like this with either lots of skin or really clear folds, and this type of stuff is awesome for learning about volume. So I think it's actually just a byproduct of the types of figures that I've spent a lot of time painting, as opposed to me pushing a specific form of practice about light placement or anything like that.
Cool. That's just something I've always noticed about your painting. You've always been pretty accurate with your light placement. And I mean, a lot of, I actually think it's probably a little bit to do with just understanding the concept of the model as well. I wish I could tell everyone who watches, hey, you just pick a light source from wherever you want and go for it. But
Yeah.
each model has like a sweet spot. Often that may have already been found before you by the box art painter.
Yeah. So I like to always start with the question, where's the light source? That's the first question I ask when I'm painting a model. So, because I think if you don't understand where the light source is, it's very hard to place your highlights and do all your other stuff, right? So that question being the first question I ask at any paint job probably also contributes.
Sure. You're doing something very interesting as well on this piece.
Thank you, mate.
You're choosing to do these circular highlights / like dots of light coming in.
Yes.
That's different for you.
Thank you. Do you feel like it looks like raindrops a little bit?
I do actually.
It's not supposed to.
First off, I was like, are we doing dappled light? We're just doing some dappled lighting.
It's not supposed
right
to. It's
like,
just I'm just painting. I'm doing some airbrushing in a second, which will probably kill a lot of this. But just thought it'd be interesting to see how these little.
Yeah, I can. So like, if we're pushing for like a high reflection on these areas, then she's wet, right?
Yeah.
We want to do her wet. So. Yeah, I think it's selling. I think if you refine it, it's gonna look really, really good.
We'll see.
I mean, this is a pretty good piece for you. This is like pretty up in your wheelhouse.
It is.
When I think about the piece itself.
And this is why I pulled it out, mate, because I have been off the boil, and I'll grab some of my pieces that I've been working on to show you what I mean by that. Because yeah, and it's an interesting time in my painting journey, because I feel like we're confident and comfortable in what we do and who we are, but I want to start doing different stuff. So this is something I've been working on.
What are you not liking?
How much fucking shit there is on the model.
She's stacked, eh?
Oh, she's just cooked. She's just got so much gear all over the shop.
It never fails me to see how you can add interest to things like in a pretty unique way. The colours that you've chosen to use on her tattered robe at the front, it's just very visually pleasing.
Yeah, that's the part I'm happy with, and then the skin tone to some extent I'm happy with as well. There's some sort of colours and interesting things happening in there, and I like this.
I think you should on the boob closest to your finger. Yeah, the one that you kind of that one. I think it actually needs a secondary skin highlight under the boob as well.
Yeah.
Like on still on the boob, not like on the chest, but I think that would help.
The issue I have with the model, it's a very hard figure to paint. Like very, very hard figure, because there's so many details, so many little things. I'm really struggling with how to draw enough focus to here.
To her face, or?
Because when you hold her front on, you're like, oh, that's pretty good. But this is the angle you generally look at her at, like this sort of angle.
I feel like she even needs to go further. Like, I think the eyes on the skull need to be looking at me, for example, like twisted. Yeah, I think that's the sweet spot there, right?
Yeah. So I probably didn't quite nail that angle in terms of the light. Like, this should be a little bit lighter under here, as you were just talking to and stuff. So, and then I need to do all the feathers and stuff. So she might make it to the
event.
We'll see if we get it finished. This one, on the other hand, I was really excited for the actual concept, but I don't know if I'm going to even be able to keep going with it.
So I just call this, like with Natalia now, I call this piece Magma Baby.
Cool.
I don't know its actual name.
Magma Baby.
I've really wanted to paint this model, like, after seeing it. It's got, like, I'm just going to caveat again, this model has some elements on it that are just like, oh no. Like the stars in the hair in general is pretty
So this
Pretty
is
cooked in the back.
this is part one,
Mhm.
and then part two is this chick sits in here. So this is like a summoning of her. So I'm not sure. I really like a lot of the angles and stuff here. You know, I feel like this is a really interesting shape.
I like the leaves just quickly, like the way you've curled them around the tree. That's pretty cool. That one down the bottom there, yeah.
It's yeah. So I feel like this is a cool concept. There's so much work in it, and I don't know if I can do it in time. Probably not. Well, I obviously could do it in time, but I don't know.
I think you should go for this piece.
You think this one?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I think just totally bench the one that we just looked at.
Yeah.
I think this one has the potential to be. This one is more you than anything else.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's two models, right? So it's not just
two models,
not
and
just
you'll
one.
always double up, and where everyone will paint one, you'll be like, here's two.
Yeah, it's not piss week, like just one fucking.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been tough going because both of those are very detailed, highly complex sort of things, and I just felt like I need to do something a little bit easier, a little bit more me, that I can just find some simple shapes and colours and just remember how to paint basically because it's been a while.
Well, I mean, something that like I've had a lot of struggle with, but you don't at all, is like you just concept off your head, like boom, new concept. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You know, these colors, like. So, you've got a couple of pieces that leaning into that, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be painting along with you, mate. But I just had a big session just before coming on. I need a break because I'm attempting to do the hardest thing I've ever done. So.
Wow, what's that?
I'm attempting to do a purely reflective white jacket that is iridescent and has a underglow as well.
All right, so yeah, pushing hard.
Yeah, would you like me to send it to you?
Please.
Okay. I'll send it to you on Discord.
Wonderful.
Bear in mind, it's still got some.
Of course, mate. You don't need to justify it. It's just a model.
Be gentle. Where are you? No, you don't have to. You can go out. I have to do it through here.
All said and done. You know I'll be the only one. No.
I'll go close some apps and then do it. I've started using Lightroom as my primary source for. It's so good.
I have as well, and that's interesting.
Yes. How good is it?
That's interesting that we both completely came to that conclusion without discussing it whatsoever.
Yeah. Benny really put me onto it.
I downloaded it with Benny's advice on the weekend of Crimson because we were trying to figure out why some raw images were like. Anyway, doesn't really matter the story, but I downloaded it and I took some photos with it the other day just on my phone and I was like, oh, that's a way better photo than what my shitty phone camera takes. So
I'm also trying to learn how to do Kirill's incredibly high reflective gold. So
you're just swinging for the fences, aren't you?
Kind of.
Got to give Dave a run for his money. Someone has to, because it fucking won't be me.
Let me find you. I fear that that Dave might be a little bit out of reach for the time being. I'd be pretty comfortable at saying after having the opportunity to hold some of the most famous pieces in the world in my greedy little hands over the last couple of weeks, that I feel pretty confident in saying that David Colwell is absolutely by far one of the best painters in the world right now.
I have told you that.
Whether he wants to believe it or not.
I am absolutely 100% in agreement. Yeah, I've also held many of those wonderful painters all over the world, models in the hand, and DC is right up there. He is absolutely all time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's his humbleness also that makes him so fucking annoying, hey? Because he doesn't fucking believe it.
I'm sending you 3.
All right. Interesting.
So some angles are not in close to done, but
You crazy lad. You crazy, crazy lad. Let's bring it up, friends. Let's see what he's got for us.
this last one might be the one you want to use. It's the front on view.
You're a mad lad.
Is this a good mad lad or?
Always. Whew. No, Deno, what are you doing? Don't do that. Just do this, you fucking idiot. There we go. Andrew Buckley, you're a mad lad.
So I've only just I've been working on the jacket from today.
Yeah.
I reset it. So yeah, this is the start of something very, very, very challenging.
That it is, yes. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I don't love though. I don't love the cotton candy hair. And it's interesting because you've got such reflectiveness on the jacket. I almost feel like the hair should be the same sort of like...
I'll boost the hair now knowing where the jacket is.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
And I'll have to boost the gold on the top too.
Yeah. It's interesting, mate. It's interesting.
It's based on a League of Legends skin, so that's where the hair comes from. It's going back and re-attempting to do something I failed at very early on in painting.
You feeling good about it?
Not really. It's been a very challenging piece to do. But if I get this jacket right, I think we're in a pretty good place.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, it is. It is. It looks like something that is very challenging. Pyro Man, outstanding. 10 out of 10 puns. I'll tell you a joke that I thought was very funny. The thing about blind prostitutes, you've really got to hand it to them. There you go, Pyro Man. It's a little one back for you. Where is my colour that I'm looking for? It's not that one. Got a specific colour. Good pun, that one. Got a lot of time for it. Where the fuck is this colour? Oh my god. What is the point in having all of your paints laid out in front of you if you can't even see the colour you're looking for? That's it. I'm sure that's it. No. It's tricky, mate. I don't know that I would be able to do that, what you've done.
Yeah.
There it is.
So where I'm really liking, right, is her left-hand sleeve feels right.
The one under the boobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's reflecting really well.
Yeah.
The other side is, like, placed right, but because I've just put preliminary underlighting in, it's kind of breaking the illusion right now. So I've got to darken all of those. They've got to be way darker because they're further away from the source.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking hard, dude.
It looks it.
I don't know what to say. Like,
Yep. It's impressive. Very impressive.
we got some some little writing in on the that was a bit annoying to do on the guitar, like on the brass straps.
Yeah.
I wish I had a more clearer space to be able to make it cleaner, but it's like a detail that's blending away, so I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, so I think it's just going to take a lot of balancing for quite a while.
Yep. If you can get that looking right, that is just going to be a 10 out of 10. Andrew Bucks project. Banger.
I don't think it's super far away.
Yeah.
Because my brain started to understand what I was doing today for the first time, so we're headed finally in the right direction.
So you're feeling good about Arc Open?
No, not at all. I've got nothing. I've got this, and I've got an Outland bus that's kind of like halfway through. I don't think I've sent you that one either.
Yeah. Well, you've seen everything I've got now that I'm not allowed to bring my fucking vampire diorama.
Yeah, I'll send you Outland too. So... really should have done a miniature, right? Should have done the thing that's Arc Open is actually all about.
It's hard to go back though, isn't it? Like, it's hard to go back to that.
It's very hard, particularly when you've been on a course and spending time with one of the best painters in the world.
Was it a meaningful course for you? Do you think you've walked away from it feeling differently?
The course was really great, but I think my time spent with Natalia, like away from that, was probably heaps and heaps of value too. The course I would suggest for anyone to go on it. I think even if and I'm not gonna like toot my own horn. I'm gonna say this as humbly as possible, but like, I don't think there's going to be like a new concept that like totally blows my mind or anything at this point in the journey. But having just fresh eyes, a fresh perspective, and someone who paints just completely different to you, have a look at your stuff, have a look at the way you do things, and show you behind the doors on their process is just incredibly invaluable every time. So
I sat in on Massive Voodoo. This is going back to 2016, I think. 2017. Went to Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Did a 2-day course with Rafa, and I remember sort of walking away after it thinking, he didn't show me anything I don't know how to do. He didn't give me any tool or anything that completely changed my perspective. it was just a gradual assimilation of ideas, of
Mm-hmm.
things to think about in a different way, that when I sat back down to start painting again, all of a sudden I felt like I had a whole new vista of things to practice and explore.
Yep.
And that,
Yep. That's a way better way of explaining it.
yeah, that's not surprising, mate. Yeah, you have no actual specific breakthroughs, and again, it depends where you're at in your journey as well. I think.
In fact, in the class, I went backwards in my painting, but I should have gone backwards. That was always the thing I needed to do because I was undoing things to learn new things, right?
Yeah.
So, particularly like a heavy focus on sketching.
Yep.
Which is not my style of painting. I've sketched in the past, and I think there's a lot of value in sketching, but it's just maybe something that I had not found as much success in, so I had sort of left that skill alone for a little bit.
Now that is interesting to me.
Why is that?
Well, I would not have picked that. I would have said that you were a big sketcher.
No. I guess maybe I am in the way that I'm happy to like revisit stuff and keep going and keep pushing. But I'm always like what you're doing right now, right? Paint the whole skin first. Like Natalia is like sketched the whole model. Everything.
Yeah.
Colors, concepts, everything gets sketched in the first hour and a half of painting the model.
Yeah. Yeah,
that is wild to me.
Yeah, that's something I've always admired about Ben Comets, right? He will just do a section at a time, and somehow he can paint an area that he did probably 15, 20 hours ago, and he'll be able to replicate exactly the same. I have to paint section by section, every part of a section, because I couldn't replicate this colour again. No way.
Mm-hmm. And that's like a colour knowledge thing, right? Like,
yeah.
The other one as well is the advantage of why. Like, it's not just about, oh, this is a new technique, so cool. I think the importance of sketching is to have correlation across the whole piece, harmony, synchronized lighting sources that all work together. And it's one of the criticisms that I had received, or feedback pieces that I'd once Natalia was able to spend a lot of time with the stuff I've painted, was that, like, although these elements are all at a fairly high level, I would say, that at times they're inconsistent light sources. So, like, Uther's face, for example, it doesn't have the same light source as his arm.
Yep.
Which is like, actually, all I would have had to have done is at the end of that piece, just take a step back and look and go, is all of this harmonious? No? Put one extra highlight on the face and done. But because you're not, because I, not been thinking about things in that moment, like it didn't happen,
Yeah.
So. Will that, however, change? Probably not. Because the issue I find with sketching out the whole model is that I am not consistent enough in my sketch, so I put too many mistakes on the model.
Yeah.
And then it stresses me out thinking about everything I've got to go back and fix. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, maybe stress is not the word, but it unsettles my process thinking about all the things I have to go back and do. Which Dave and I sat together on the workshop, and that was something that he was similar with. Right, was like not wanting to create necessarily more work. Now the crazy thing is, this all sounds like someone who's an incredibly liberal painter, like teaching you how to paint, yeah. But Natalia still pushes to a pretty high finish on her pieces. So I found that really interesting.
Well, the sketching mindset is one that Roman and Rafa also came in with, but their approach to sketching is almost from an oil painting background. They sketch out volumes and define everything, and then they go back in and refine the blends with acrylics in the same way that you would refine blends in an oil painting. But the key part of their process was very similar. It's build up all of the values that you need from the start. So when you're doing your sketching, what you're trying to achieve is a clear set out of what your highest highlight is, what your deepest shadow is, and where all those lights go. And you just refine from there. So, yeah, it's a. I don't prescribe to that process, fully or probably even at all, really, in the way that I paint now. But it's certainly shaped the way that I think about things, and that lighting and highest lights and deepest shadows and that sort of thing. Does sound like
it just seems like starting from really far back, if that makes sense. Like you start in this really rudimentary form, but I mean it's pretty close to how art really is done, right?
Yep.
And I think that's the difference between some painters who come from miniature painting backgrounds and some painters who come from just an artistic background who then move into miniature painting.
Yeah, that's spot on. You and I, we are miniature painters.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And so I actually think, as crazy as it is, miniature painters start further back than artists when it comes to display painting.
Yep.
Which sounds pretty funny, right? Considering all things considered, but.
So should be a good weekend. Just spending some time together without the pressure of running an event or running a 100%. Store.
100%. I've really lacked, but my Marvel right now is at an all-time low. So I managed to get a game in just before Natalia and that came over.
Yeah.
But we didn't even finish in time because we're playing with a fairly new player.
Yeah.
And so we might have to play some filthy casual games in it.
Mate, filthy casual games are the best.
They are, yeah.
No, I've been playing at the shop on the Wednesdays or Thursday nights and having a bit of fun.
Have you settled in? Is it Midnight Suns?
No, I still haven't found the right fit for me, but I played Black Order at the tournament on the weekend, or the weekend just gone, which was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think where I'm going to land now is I'm not going to have a specific affiliation, which is a shame because the reason I'm not going to have a specific affiliation is because I don't want to turn it into I'm going to master this fucking game.
Yeah.
I just want to have fun throwing.
You're enjoying just having fun throwing models.
Throwing my toys around and stuff.
And throwing other people's toys around, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Which is the best part of this game in the first place.
It sure is.
Shadow Point, really interesting. It's going on for pre-order now, I think, around the world. That's pretty cool. I think that's gonna steal the attention of some Marvel players over the next couple of months.
Not for me. I'm not a Star Wars aficionado as much as other people. It looks fine. Looks good. Not for me.
I'll definitely be getting in and having some fun with that. Looking forward to spending some more time with Benny for that one.
Oh. Start was fucking tragic.
He is indeed.
I can't break through.
I'll tell you one thing, trying to push for higher finishes, mate, the blending life. Am I really about it?
I am not.
You know, Natalia said one of the most brutal things to me at Crimson. She looked at me and she said, Andy, are you just going to become another Spanish painter? And I was like, fuck. Natalia, you savage. Why do me like that?
Savage Garden.
Mm-hmm. And that's like played in the back of my mind, like on repeat for the last little while. And then I'm like, wait a minute, is she just manipulating my brain? Is she just manipulating me into joining the School of Poland?
Yes. Yes, she is.
Is there a war for painters' souls going on right now? Like an underground war that I didn't know about between the Poles and the Spaniards?
Yes.
There is, isn't there?
And you've just become a part of it.
Yeah.
Unknowingly.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy how many really, really, really good Polish painters there are, right?
Yeah. Well, here's a funny one, right? You know, Michael Pizarski's got a brother.
Yeah. Kristaps, yeah.
Yeah. And he's a fucking baller as well. But
yeah,
he only ever paints like 40k stuff, so very rarely does he ever get talked about. But he's a fucking baller.
Yeah, and you know what's really interesting? He receives no help from his brother.
Yeah.
And he's only been painting for a few years.
It's crazy.
But you've got Kaha, Natalia, Shistov, is it Shevchenko?
Michals,
yeah. You've got Land. You've got Monstroys is from Poland as well.
Yeah, he's also Paul or Pavel.
Yeah. Pavel. Yeah. Pavel. Yeah. You've got Anya. She's very good.
Oh yeah, she's unreal. She's up there actually. All timer for me.
Yeah, it's a powerful country on the miniature painting front.
Yeah, that it is. It's not Australia though. Only got like 6 painters, mate, and 3 of them in the top in the world.
Australia's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
DC.
What? Yeah.
Liam.
Yeah.
Andrew Buckley.
No, I don't know about that one, mate. Calm down. As my mum would say, belt up, mate.
I'm just.
It's not my name that's ranked 21 on Putty and Paint, bud.
Yeah, look, that's erroneous. Erroneous!
I should really start a Putty and Paint this year.
Yeah, you really should.
Penny's been on my case to get that done for a long time.
Alright, let's add some colour.
I'll tell you what, though, man, it was wonderful to meet Alan and spend some time with him.
Yeah, I've actually never met him.
Lovely guy, man.
Yeah, I've heard.
And he's eager when you're next, like, we probably can't get it done for March, but I think we should make a time for you to come down and we'll go and do that sort of stuff if you're interested.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm in the fortunate position of having seen a lot of those artists work in the hand, and probably even some of the pieces that he owns I've seen in the hand. But yeah, it's a smorgasbord, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. And Alan's really lovely. I'd love to spend more time with him and get to know. He's like an encyclopedia, man.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna regret this.
What do you want, a bit of toast?
Having a piece of bread.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be bread.
Gluten.
I'm really hungry.
So there's quite a few celebrities attending miniature painting YouTube / celebrities attending Arc Open now.
Yeah.
You've got the crew at Tabletop Time is going to be there. You've got Squidmer and Lucas. You've got Legends and Lore. You've got Tabletop Time. I think I said that. Major Killer's going to be there as well. So
Big Deno Paints.
Big Deno Paints. I mean, there's going to be over a million subs there, really, for YouTube. That's pretty crazy.
Well, I think in that case, I probably should bring the Vampire Diorama just so it gets some airtime. What do you think about that?
Would you like to do that? I was going to say maybe you just bring it down to show people,
well,
what you're about, mate.
Old Longy did offer me to just put it up somewhere. He's like, if you want to bring it down, we'll put it on display. So
yeah. I actually ran into to Dan, who's the lead TO for the event.
Yeah.
And he asked if you and I would like to jump on their streaming stuff that they're going to do and have a chat to us.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, so I've really gotten into a couple of TV shows over the last week.
What are you on?
So both are on Amazon Prime. The first is called Reacher.
Yeah. Like Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher. Fuck, it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. He looks like he could definitely fulfill your hero fantasies.
Oh my god, he's an absolute monster.
He's a bit of a rig, isn't he?
Oh, specimen. And then Frostmore. And then after that, I was like, fuck yeah, I want to watch some more like spy and army and military shit. So I cracked out Jack Ryan with John Krasinski.
Yeah.
It's also really good.
Nice.
I will say I don't think it's quite as good as Reacher. Reacher is actually probably up there in terms of TV shows of last year.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
And it's apparently like they just got the right guy for the
they
role.
did.
Like they nailed their casting.
Yeah. Well, that guy, he was actually in Titans.
Was he?
Yeah, he played Hawk in Titans. And then he got offered the Reacher role and they wrote him out of Titans, basically. But yeah, he is just a fucking good casting. Very believable in the role of Reacher. I've never read any Reacher books, but I've been doing some research and yeah, just sounds like he's absolutely spot on. Toss a coin to your Reacher.
So the stuff I want to watch, right? Because there's a fair bit of stuff out right now, and I'm a bit overwhelmed. And all that while having house guests for 2 weeks, has left me a little bit low. But I've watched the first episode of Vikings.
Yep.
The new season. I really want to watch Last of Us. I'm hearing just wonderful things about this show.
Yep. I'm also hearing wonderful things.
I would like to watch 1923. We watched 1983 and 1883 or whatever it was, 1823, and really, really enjoyed that. And I had some other show there as well. There was like 4 or 5 actually. Oh, I'm still going to watch Andor.
Oh, yeah.
That's super good. And then we've got Mandalorian starting in literally, 2 weeks. So.
Well, on the televisions at the moment, we just had Carnival Row Season 2 on Amazon as well, which is being released an episode per week, which annoys the fuck out of me, but it's a good show. We've also got Shadow and Bone on Netflix Season 2 coming out in March, so not that far away. And there's one other one that just came out as well. Yeah, it's a wonderful time for television, mate. It's a wonderful time.
So yeah, with Arc looming and not really having any miniature painted for it specifically, I did pick up that really cool Skaven assassin model.
Yep.
Do you know the one?
I absolutely know the one.
The new
time.
one? Yeah,
Yeah.
the one where he's kind of like leaning over a gutter,
Yeah.
like hanging on a rock. I picked that one up to do. I just don't know if I'll have time to.
Yep.
So I'm like, do I just double down and just paint this piece for however long I need to get this done?
Yeah, I might
take it.
head over to GW tomorrow or something and see if there's a Nurgle model I can paint. Just a nice, you know,
Lord of
Lord of Blights.
Lord of Blights, mate. I don't think you've done that one, have you?
I have.
You have?
Yeah, come on, mate.
Yeah.
I painted a whole Nurgle army. Don't forget. Well, that was probably a
Yeah,
bit
but not for display.
No, not for display. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful model.
It's a smart play painting a Nurgle model, mate. Always safe.
Yep.
Natalia would be proud, mate. I'm here twirling away on the underside of the model. What's wrong with me? What's happened?
Yeah. Natalia might be proud, but Big Dino's just disappointed.
Just disappointed. I've let him down. I've let my first mentor and teacher down.
I've been
As the new flashy one as a kid.
I've been dropped like a sack of potatoes, mate. I'm yesterday's hero.
Need to look at how to transition the glow from a magenta to a purple. Like, do I need to put a color in between to help it along?
You're asking the wrong guy there, mate.
You know how to do glows.
Yeah.
I
Vaguely.
think that the trick to it is like you just back and forth it right until it kind of finally sits right.
Yeah. How's your snap journey going?
I've not played it all this season.
Really?
No.
Oh, you spent a lot of time with Natalia, I suppose. So.
Yeah, like a lot of time with Natalia. We actually we did just a lot of hanging out. Actually, did a lot of home stuff because they've done so much sightseeing over the Brisbane Sydney part of the trip. So we just did a lot of hanging out. We got along really well. Natalia and Yaya got along, and Jub got along really, really well, and Paul. So that was really good. She was very sweet. She did us a bunch of sketches. If we look up here, maybe we can get it to go.
Ah,
Can you see? Hold on, like
above your head, above your paint.
yeah.
Rack.
So yeah, you see that up there?
Yeah, you had it. Yeah.
Hold up.
On
Has it got it now?
Nah, little bit more. Other way. Yep, there it is.
Yeah. So that is the Space Marine with a big flag that says "I love you." So she did that. She sketched our two cats. So we put those in frames, and she sketched like a lovely little card for Yaya as well. And then she had it signed by BC's brother. So
Awesome.
but yeah, we just did a lot of that sort of stuff. But we did get to the gallery actually. We spent a day at the gallery together.
Yeah, I like the gallery. It's nice.
Yeah, have you been to the Melbourne one in a little while?
Yep. Yeah, well, it was probably last time I was there was about 4 years ago, but
Yeah,
it's good.
solid gallery, right?
Yeah, it's good.
huge, like from 14th to 16th century, right? A lot of Renaissance stuff in there.
Yeah.
A lot of Renaissance and a lot of Flandish stuff in there as well, which is really cool. So lots of things that have probably had a bit of an impact on miniature painting.
Well, being back at work has certainly killed the brief spark of painting joy I had. I had a wonderful little period there after I finished the vampires. I was like, yes, I'm back, baby, I'm back. Felt good. I'm not back.
It's a real thing, man. It's a real thing. Because I think if we were in other parts of the world, the opportunity to do the thing we love and maybe focus on that is a lot higher.
Yeah.
But of course, you're trading for other things.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll say that said, I am eager to get over now.
To the Monty.
So, yeah, whether it's this year or next year. Both. I'd love to go to Contrast and Mochon as well.
Yep. You've picked up a little bit of Polish pronunciation, mate. Did you know that?
Have I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried my very best to be more accommodating to understanding a language and using people's names correctly.
It's a good one.
I think that's important. After all, they want us to what about Tuffy and Deno goes over and we interview everyone, mate. We run a channel because there's some people doing it already, but I think the rumour around town is that there's a couple of Australians that pair up quite nicely and could do a pretty good job of having a chat to all these wonderful painters out there.
Well, we've got to be better than that Hutba show, haven't we?
That's I've been directly told I need to make my way over and start the process.
What an interesting shape this cloak is. Wow, it's fun.
It's cooked. Can I tell you, I threw one of these in the bin.
Did you?
Do you know why?
Why?
Don't know what happened, but I sprayed it as per normal.
Yeah.
And it just kind of bubbled up in a few areas.
Yeah.
And legitimately just died, right? And then I stripped it back, I sanded it back, and because of how fucking smooth this chick is, like the cloak, could never get rid of the bump from the previous undercoat. Like I couldn't perfectly strip the undercoat off, and so it was sitting uneven. I've never seen a model where one undercoat layer that's been sanded away still is enough to cause a disparity between the next layer going on. I was like, my God, have I laid an egg on this thing?
Yeah, you've fucked it completely. It sounds like.
But you're painting it right now, so you can attest, right? This thing is like crazy smooth.
Yep.
It's like massive flat surfaces.
Yeah, it's so flat.
KFAU, I know that name very well. That's a wonderful gentleman who I spent some time with.
This cloak is so flat, it's making the walls jealous, mate.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. Up the irons, mate. Indeed. If you're ever in Ballarat, Trent, and want to learn how to put someone in an armbar, go see my good friend at Bear Cave, old Bear. He'll teach you. He'll teach you a few things about how to wrap someone up.
All right, good information. It's good skills.
Yeah.
Don't like.
But yeah. What do you reckon, mate? Do we make the journey over? Take the handy cam
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
and take the miniature painting world by storm.
But let me just tell you, all you want to do is fucking look at models, mate. That's all you want to do for hours and hours and hours. Look at me just ignoring this.
I've paid you a painting lesson for a paid lesson. Look, I don't know that I want to be stretched out quite just yet, man. I don't know if I want to feel muscles in my body pop in weird ways.
I, on the other hand, would be quite amenable to that. So, let's go. I almost feel like this is a Little Red Riding Hood. Maybe I should make it a Little Red Riding Hood take. Changes to red.
I would 100% endorse this, as my obsession with red runs deep. Also, I think because of your skin tones, the purple's making her look darker and more dead.
Yeah, I was trying to go for more of an undead necromancer vibe than anything else. I'm contemplating adding a little bit of blue and green into the skin, but we'll just keep mucking around.
Hey, I sent you those photos of Abland too. What do you think? What do you think of that one?
No, that's no good.
Right, it's going to be great.
It's a tough model.
You reckon?
Doesn't look tough, but it's deceptive because there's not much doing.
Yes.
So
the plan I had for that is that I'm going to create a green forked lightning that wraps all the way around the left side of his head, into his eye.
Yeah.
And it'll be like it's like moving across both the clothing on his shoulder into his facial structure. So it'll be like the jade armor is possessing it.
All right. If you can pull that off, it'll be okay. You gonna pull that off?
Yeah.
All right. I believe in Harvey.
Because the facial structure leans itself to it already. And I already did like all this forked sort of stuff in there before I started to change the shadows on it. So, hey, Cooch.
Cujo. Hey, buddy. Well, probably only got about 15 minutes left in me, mate.
Sure.
I'm well past my bedtime and my prime painting skills. So,
have you copped Rhino and Thingo yet?
I cop what?
Have you copped Rhino, Spider-Woman, and...
I've got Rhino, and I've got Beta Ray Bill and Ulick.
Oh, nice.
But I haven't.
Still haven't got Spider-Woman and Agent Venom. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still chasing Strange One?
Yeah.
All right. I got you, fam.
Nice. Although I did just like pack up my Marvel stuff into like a secondary sort of storage. So I had it all out, just lined up, ready to go. But display painting is biting pretty hard right now.
Elise Wong Creations. What a cool raid. Welcome, friends. Many people here. Hello.
Many.
I'm painting this bust. This is just tonight's work so far. So I don't really have any good stuff. Hang on, I'll get some stuff to show you off. I've got some cool stuff to show. Hang on. Oh, Bucks, were you here last week?
Yeah. What's up? what have you got to show off? Are you going to bring in your Are you going to bring in the diorama?
Well, no, the diorama's too big. The diorama's too big. Hello, Commissar Crazy. Yeah, I've done a diorama. I'll bring up a picture of it. This is my last project I worked on. I didn't do it on stream, but this is sort of what I do.
My room's a lot tidier than you expected, Cooch.
So that's one. I did this one. This one's actually getting pretty old now, but
I really like this one. I think you should give this one to me.
yeah, okay, if you
We
want.
should maybe do an exchange.
I'll bring this one down, I think. This will be one of my entries for the category. It's a pretty good one. This is the diorama that I just finished. Now, be warned. It's graphic. It's graphic. It's very, very, very... So it is just behind me, but it's really hard to... I have to change the camera and everything to show it off. So I'm just gonna give you this. Bang, bang. This is just a picture of it that I took. It's just behind me. Thank you, Elise. That's wonderful of you. This is what I was doing just before I took a break in miniature painting. But yeah, this is generally what I like to do is big, crazy, elaborate dioramas. So maybe I'll show you another one of my good ones actually.
Bring out Camelot, mate.
Camelot.
Let's go.
Camelot. Is it still on?
You should be running that Camelot every single chance you can get, mate. For the rest of your life.
It's a banger, eh? Oh, I'll bring you back. It's a banger, Camelot. It is just a really...
Natalia was like quite bummed that she didn't get the opportunity to see it.
Yeah. It's yeah. Here we go. This is a good effort here, Dano. You've done well, mate. This is probably the piece that I think is I'm most proud of. It's very big.
Are we collaborating right now? If by hanging out, if a couple of mates hanging out and just having a chat about the things we love in painting and miniature painting is collaborating, then absolutely. But
we do have a project planned for...
Yeah, Dano's been sandbagging me on this project.
Oh, you're a dog. No, here, I got something else to show you, Buck, so this one's more for you than anyone else. Thanks for the raid, Elise. Everyone should go follow Elise. It's wonderful. This one is not me, I will stress. That I did not paint this. I purchased this from a friend of mine who is a wonderful painter, and this is just purely for inspiration for me. So
maybe you need to bring this one down, mate.
If we zoom in, you can have a bit of a close look at the drop shadows. Truffle, these are all mostly resin or plastic figures that we've purchased from miniature manufacturers and then added colour to. Yeah, this is a really cool example of the miniature art at its best. I'm just kicking around down in the fucking bottom trenches, just plugging away, and then there's guys like Eric doing this sort of stuff. So some crazy artists out there. Yeah, and this is my thumb, so just keep that in mind. This is yeah. Cool. I don't know if I'll bring that down actually. If I'm going to bring the vampire diorama down, I definitely won't be bringing it.
Yeah.
So.
Now you're arriving in Melbourne at 7 at night.
Yeah, Friday night. I fly down 4 o'clock. I think my flight flies down.
Oh, sweet. So you'll be at my house by.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, like 7:30 or
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And then are we just straight up? Shall I have the table ready to go?
Mate, ready to go.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Yeah, this is a piece called Witch Horn, hey Wavy. And it's actually based on a piece of artwork by is this Brom?
It is Brom, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a cool trend in miniature art now, which is to take fantasy artwork and then turn it into miniature form, which people can then purchase. It's something that we're seeing a lot more of, and I love it. I think it's great. So this is one of those where we have what is a very striking silhouette, absolutely, and looks really awesome as a 2-dimensional piece of artwork. Turning it into a 3-dimensional figure, which has some different angles, is really cool.
What do you think of Michael Contreras, the Mad Lad, and his new Kickstarter that he's doing?
I haven't even seen it.
He's doing Eddie from Iron Maiden, 6 busts and figures.
He's a lunatic.
Yeah. The Trooper one is the best one.
Yeah. Cujo, in terms of is that the best piece in my collection, I am not sure. It's certainly up there. I think. We go. Oh, he wants to come.
He just threw it at me.
I think it's probably the most expensive in my collection, or very, very close to it. It's probably the best, yeah. Wonderful, thanks, Elise. I will go and check you out. Actually, let's go and do it right now. Let's go check out. Yeah, let's go have a Bay Peep. Little Bay Peep. Boot. No, not that. All right. Just go. Boo. All right. This is Elise doing fantasy artwork. Oh, sick.
Yeah, awesome.
Is that a sculpted wolf too? That's mad.
Yeah, it looks like a 3D sculpted wolf.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That one's very cool.
Good work, champion. I don't know how people do that. That's
Killer fine artist.
That's outrageous.
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll be converting Elise's designs into miniatures and painting.
Yeah, we should do that for sure. Oh, I love that stage when you put the varnish over it. Yes, so satisfying.
It's got to be the most satisfying thing going, right?
Yeah, so good. Oh, that's awesome.
The peel.
Oh,
no seepage.
Yeah.
Love it.
Unreal. Look at that.
Banger.
Yeah, we would love to. You're from Malaysia, are you? I love Malaysia.
Hey, mate. Speaking of which, are we going?
To the Malaysia Model Show?
Yeah.
Well, I got invited to be a judge. Did I tell you that?
I know. Alan is one of the lead guys there. He's like, I want you to be there. He's like, I want you to come over. Like, we'll do the event, and then we've got like 3 or 4 days afterwards. We take everyone around and we do all this sort of stuff. The pitch was strong from him, mate. He was all over it.
Yeah, he was really keen for me. It might not have been him that actually asked. It was someone though that asked if I could come over and judge, and I think they were like, oh look, we can't pay for your flights, but we can sort of give you a place to stay and all this sort of stuff. I think when was it? It's April, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck, it's probably
might be a little bit after actually.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. We'll see. It's a maybe. Look at these cool
Doors
eyes.
are opening, mate.
Oh yes, man, this would be cool. We could definitely make some figures out of these, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Some cool shit.
Like animals in unique sort of poses are becoming really popular, right? Like
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah.
the chameleon
Ooh.
recently, and some of the is it the woodpecker as well?
Yeah. That'd be a cool figure to paint. Steampunky ladies.
So lie, is it? Lay is a big one for this sort of stuff.
Oh, check these turtles out. Sick. Very cool, very cool. All right. Well, we might probably wrap up very shortly, Buxo. So
sounds good, mate.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, no real plans for this one at the moment. I'm just literally splashing colour on, having a wonderful time. I like the skin. Haven't quite landed the light on everything else yet. I will get there. It could happen in the could happen very quickly in the next few hours.
Sessions
come together, yeah. So we'll keep persisting with this, and if everything goes to plan, we may bring this one over to Arc Open, but if not, that's okay.
Well, we're only allowed to have 2 in the bus category, right?
Yeah, so probably
probably
at the moment I've got Athena and the Orc Archer.
Yeah.
So they're my 2 best. So, but I'll try and finish off that. See you, Timbo. I'll try and finish off that.
See you, mate.
Summoning chick one, because I reckon that one is going to be pretty cool if I can figure out what I'm doing with it. This was a bad idea putting orange on it. Don't know why I did that. All right, well, let's raid on. We'll give all of those wonderful people from Elise's raid
a new home.
A new home.
Who have we got on tonight, mate? Who's reaching out for a raid? Who's reaching?
Dion.
Oh, Big Jack.
We got Dion. He's on. Foolish Monk's on. Kiara Elvenblood's on. Count Bug. What's Count Bug doing? What are you doing? I'll tell you what you're doing. You're kicking around with a fucking 360p fucking...
No, that's not going to get you a raid.
720. Nah. Pro tip, friends. If you're going to stream, fix your gear. Fix your gear up. You peanuts. What's Abe doing? Oh, Abe, it's torturous, mate. It's punishing. Go away.
But I just feel like their models have too much going on.
Who's Abe?
Foolish Monk.
Okay.
Yeah. He's in Struggle Town.
What's he gaining?
At least Dion has a
right. The models are enough.
Moderately acceptable stream.
He's all the way hooked on MCP now. Is that what he's working on?
Hang on, let's see. Yep, Red Skull. Red Skull gets a raid from Big Deno. All right. Well, good to see you all back, friends, everyone. I was planning on streaming yesterday, but I got home late from board games on Saturday night and woke up late and didn't feel like it. So that was it. But yeah, fingers crossed I'll be back next Sunday. And then yeah,
we'll be back on the Monday.
We will indeed. So good to see you all, friends. Have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. See you all again soon. Big Deno out. How you doing, Buxy out?
Buxy out.